Welcome back. It's the Marketer of the Day podcast. Rakeyia Collins is here from OvrenIQ.com. That's OVRENIQ.com. And we're here to talk about this thing called reputation management, which if you think about it, that's sort of what we're doing right now, right? We have Rakeyia Collins from OvrenIQ.com. We have Robert Plank from DFYpodcast.com. And we put out all the goodness in the internet. So that way, if there's one bad thing, it's okay. It gets drowned out. If someone looks up our name, company, or these keywords, they see that we've been around, we post consistently, we're active, we're a thought leader, the good old EEAT that Google likes to show that you are just kind of social and connected in your community, you're authoritative, all those great things. And so, Rakeyia, glad to be speaking with you today.
You as well, Robert. Thank you so much for your time today.
And likewise, right? Time is limited. And just the fact of being here on a 20 to 30 minute podcast, giving it your full attention, there's definitely value in that. And as far as you and your company and what we just spoke of, what did I miss or leave out? What from direct from the source, what has you passionate, focused, excited?
Certainly. So, again, thank you so much. Passion comes from understanding that small businesses don't really focus as much on their online reviews as a part of their overall reputation management. As you mentioned, we focus more so on content, making sure that we have our SEO and our sites updated, but the reviews that people leave about your local business are extremely important. It takes absolutely 15%, if not more, inside of Google's large algorithm base to whenever you search things like dentists near me or restaurants near me, the ones that generally pop up at the top are the ones that have a diverse set of reviews. They have reviews on a more consistent basis, and those reviews are generally responded to by the owner. So there are a lot of things that people tend to overlook about online review management specifically that I think is really important.
I agree, and thank you for bringing this to our attention because, like, you've pointed out a blind spot here, right? Because, like, you're making me think about if I'm searching on Google, Yelp, whatever, and I'm looking for a restaurant, especially, I go right to the reviews. If I am looking for an Amazon product, right to the reviews. But then when I am looking into what people see from search engines, the reviews aren't really top of mind. So that's an interesting kind of disconnect, right? Like as consumers, that's where we go. But without your reminder here, it's easy to forget about that. And I also like how there's kind of the, Google and all these platforms, especially, they say, well, here's what we want the business owners to do, right? We want you to send your people to us. And if you don't want to, well, that's fine. Other businesses will send traffic to the Google reviews and Yelp page, and they'll get more reviews, they'll outrank you. So either you can play or not play. And then when those reviews come in, you're saying that they need to be responding to those reviews. And I always think as an end consumer, that's always cool, right? When you think about like any restaurant, the owner is kind of a celebrity. Even if it's a small town mom and pop, that owner is always a big deal. And when you see someone replying, it's almost like seeing like Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates or someone like in there, like, oh, the celebrity is mixing in with the rest of us. So it's always reassuring that, okay, the Yelp page, the Google review page, it's not just auto-generated. The business owner, they set it up and they're monitoring it because they respond to those reviews that come in. And so we need to take these online reviews seriously. And where does that fit in with OvrenIQ and your solution? Like what kind of need did you see in the marketplace and why did you create this?
Yeah, so it's definitely from a need perspective. You hit on a couple of key points. I'd say the first is that it's not just Google, it's Yelp, it's TripAdvisor. There's so many different platforms where customers have the ability to respond about their experience at your business. Did they have long wait times? Was the food excellent? Did they have to wait and sit and did someone blow them off? There's just so much to kind of keep track of. So, what OvrenIQ does is it allows you to look at your entire, I'd say, universe, if you will, of review management. It aggregates everything. All you have to do is give it the URL for your specific profile on those various platforms, and it'll give you a dashboard that shows you over time, have you gotten more or less reviews year over year? We have an AI that then scans those reviews and says, what's the overall sentiment? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it neutral? It also extracts those key phrases. So no one, as busy business owners, we don't have time to go through each and every review as we should, but it at least extracts those key phrases for you to see, okay, long wait times is a theme. What do we need to do to make an informed decision to ensure that our customers don't have to wait too long? We see that Sally name continues to be mentioned. She's doing excellent. What can we do to kind of encourage that type of, team morale? So I think OvrenIQ really allows you to gain those key insights and also gives you a dashboard of each and every granular review as well. It lets you know, did I respond to this or not? I think I love what you said about being in the comments and being like a local star, because you absolutely are. And your customers should not see you only responding whenever you get a bad review. It should be a good review, a neutral review, any type of review, you should be responding.
That's a wonderful insight that it's not just about the bad reviews, but also the good ones. And this is definitely something that's needed, and it's a great use for AI, right? Sometimes I know like when I see the little, whatever they call it, the little star icon on some
Yes.
app or in my Gmail, I'm like, do they really need to add AI for this? Do I really need them to like summarize my email? I can read what the email is, but then finally, a good use for the summarization. So you're saying that you can see all of your reviews in one place. You can see kind of, are those reviews still on track? Are they consistent, or have they dropped, or something happened? And then what are those insights, and what are people saying? Are there certain phrases, keywords? Are there certain people's names mentioned? I mean, this sounds amazing. And so the next question that leads into is, who is it for? And I'm sure the answer is like all sorts of different industries, but as far as if someone says, well, I'm not sure if this tool or if looking into the reviews is right for me. So like, does it suit itself better to like restaurants or contractors or local businesses, or like who's using this tool and who should?
Yes, certainly. I'd say local businesses is definitely the target, specifically restaurants and like contractors, people who have a higher volume of reviews, and reviews generally make or break their businesses. I believe it was Capital One who recently posted an article in like Q4 of 2024 that, as you mentioned earlier, like 90 or 99% of people look at reviews. And so those two niches specifically, their businesses will make or break. Like I will look at a restaurant and say, oh, no, reviews, I'm not even going to look at it. Even if I knew I wanted like Vietnamese food, I will go to another restaurant without even having set foot on it. It's crazy how we look at reviews as if they are personal recommendations from a friend or a family member. So those are the two niches that, because they're so, I'd say their bottom line is so integrated with the reviews, that we're really trying to hit those two niches.
The internet's definitely taken over, right? It's like if I see a restaurant and I go there without even looking at the menu or the reviews, I feel like I'm really taking a risk. I feel really nervous. Versus if I hear
Yeah.
about something, I'm like, all right, well, let me look at. I need the inside, the outside, the menu, the food, the reviews. I'm like, I have a checklist in my head, so that way I can be just solid in my decision. And it makes us sound kind of introverted, but it's like, well, I'm doing all the research, so I don't go to all that trouble of like, wait, can I find it? Where is it? And then kind of like just, I don't know, like not having a good experience. So you can avoid that just by doing that research. And that's what a lot of us do, right? You look these kinds of things up ahead of time. And so these businesses, you're saying they need to take the reviews seriously, because many of our customers take the reviews seriously. It can make or break our business. And so if someone out there is watching our podcast here and they're saying, okay, well, I know I need reviews, but I don't really get that many. Like, what should someone do if they say, well, how do I consistently send people to these review sites?
Certainly. So I'd say that one, it is important that you think about your flow. So if I take, let's say, a customer from a restaurant, right? At a restaurant, if they order a to go or they, are leaving, how do you naturally ask them to leave you a review? Do you give them a card that says, hey, leave us a review on Yelp or leave us a review on Google? One thing that we're doing at Ovren is allowing that flow to be more fluid. So once you sign up as a business owner, let's say you are a moving company, for example, to be able to send them an email and say, hey, thank you so much for, allowing me to move you from point A to point B. Can you leave me a review on, Google or on Thumbtack or Home Advisor? So we are trying to make sure that, as you mentioned, it's not just about monitoring the reviews, but also increasing the number to ensure that their business stays relevant.
And how do we avoid the like genericness of that? Because I don't know about you, but when I see like on like a Walmart or a CVS receipt, they're like, "Oh, leave a like fill in the survey." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll never do that." And so have you? But then, and I guess like the kind of lazy approach would be like, "Oh, well, if you leave a review, next time you get like whatever percentage off." But even that seems kind of like not very exciting. So as far as people getting these reviews and using your tool, have you seen any like technique or like phrasing to get the reviews that's maybe been really cool or impressed you?
Yes, I will say, as I was working with some small businesses, I find that, especially for, I think it was like a nanny, they were able to give them, and I think this is very personalized because of their niche, but they were able to give them like a little basket, and then the basket was like, hey, if you leave us a review, we will not only, like as you mentioned, give them like a percent off of their next service, but we'll also be able to refer you to other businesses. So this particular company wanted to also have like movers in their area, and so I love the fact that they gave them a referral based off of what the customer needed. So yes, I was there from like a nanny perspective, but I heard your need about you needing to move as well. So the referral that they gave them, I personally love that they weren't ashamed to plug another small business. So I think that when your review says, I heard your need and this is what I'm recommending to you, now you see that your personal recommendation is now something that they're able to take advantage of as well.
And that's such an abundance mindset there because then you got the review and then you did the referral and then you scored points with that other business that maybe can send people back your way. So it's great to think outside the box in this way and about what's possible and to get excited about the possibilities because I think everyone knows that a lot of these mom and pops, especially, they're always struggling, right? Many times brick and mortar stores, service businesses, razor thin margins, and they're just trying to keep the lights on, just barely struggling to survive. And if they use the power of the internet, they can tap into all these people that maybe are skipping over them because they just aren't taking the reviews seriously. And so, having just met you and having not seen OvrenIQ up close, I'm sure you have some kind of like amazing features or things that people do with the platform. So, is there anything that you feel like maybe humble bragging about with OvrenIQ that I just don't know to ask you about?
Yes, I think that one of the amazing things that Auburn IQ has the ability to do is once it pulls in all of those reviews and it aggregates it, it goes through and it reads them and it tags them as positive, negative, or neutral. I think that that's so powerful because when you don't necessarily have the time as a business owner to look in detail at every single review at a high level, being able to see a chart that says over the last 3 months or 3 weeks, I can slice and dice my data and see that my sentiment has really gone down. And if you believe that the AI has gotten this one wrong, maybe it didn't read it correctly, you can also go in there and change it as well. I think as small businesses, because we're small businesses, we don't have to think small. If you are an office manager and you don't own the restaurant, how cool is it for you to show the restaurant owner, like, hey, look at this dashboard to kind of see how we're trending over time? How much time does that take off of you as an owner, as just a general manager, to be able to aggregate reviews from different places? Especially as a restaurant manager, you have Thumbtack, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Google. Like, it's so crazy how you can order food from just about anywhere nowadays. So being able to have that in one centralized place and pass that to management and say, this is what our investment looks like now that we've taken the time to truly invest in a reputation management.
Well, very cool. And yeah, I hadn't even considered like there's all these review sites, and that's just kind of the democratization of the internet, right? All these apps can
Mhm.
exist, but then, well, you as a business owner, your time is split trying to, you know, maintain all of these. So it helps to have this tool that unifies them and also gives us the positive, neutral, negative breakdown. That way, it saves even more time. And you
Yep.
mentioned about this idea of like someone in the bit like doesn't have to be the owner, right? Someone in the business can use this tool, and it's the marketer of the day podcast, and we're always thinking about like ways to get the word out. Like, do you know, is there anyone that kind of provides this as a service? Because I can imagine like some like marketing company can use OvrenIQ and like approach businesses in town. That's kind of a cool, almost like a biz op, right? And so is that done at all? Like even just marketing agencies using it to apply to like restaurants, businesses that they don't want to be technical, but the outside company does it?
So I've heard of that before, but I will say I haven't thought about that strategy for Auburn. So that actually is a great idea, Robert, that you just gave me. So I do think that it certainly makes perfect sense as to why someone who is not as technical may not want to deal with this. So that's absolutely awesome.
Well, you're welcome, and that's another kind of crowd to target, right? Be like, hey, if are you a marketing agency, plug this into what you're doing. Like maybe you're building the website, building the SEO, the traffic for like these contractors. Use Auburn IQ to add another tool in the toolbox. You heard it right here from Mr. Robert Plank. But as far as I mean, you have all these cool features, and like they're really clever, but they're also really simple. And it's like, man, where's this been all my life? And so, as far as the future moving forward, is there anything that has you excited on that front? Like, are there any cool features or anything new that you're doing as far as growing your company?
Yes. So one cool thing that we commonly hear is while it's nice to be able to aggregate and see everything in one place, it would be nicer if we can have the AI read the review and then provide a personalized response. And so that's something that I'm super excited about because I think being able to like not only see it, like, yes, that's nice, but I want to be able to respond in a meaningful way that shows someone who's just, scanning reviews at a restaurant or any local business that this owner actually cares. They actually took the time to write, a sentence or two, not just thanks for coming, thanks for your visit, thanks for the feedback, like someone who actually reads it. And so that's really something I'm looking forward to.
Amazing. It will save even more time, right? Like you save time
Mhm.
already seeing all the reviews in one place, but then replying, like you can still, and what's great about AI is you can still work with it, right? You can have it generate something that is close enough, and then you kind of tweak it and make it your own. So
Mhm.
this way, instead of someone maybe spending 10, 15 minutes a week doing this, it can be just like a couple of minutes a week because they just click, and great. Either we need to work on some stuff, and that time it can be spent not on using the tool, but on making changes in the business. Or if everything's going great, we can just check and see that and get back to regular life. And so this
Mhm.
whole idea of reputation management and reviews, monitoring, analyzing, etc., it's all really cool. But is there a missing hidden question on this topic that I should be asking you? I just don't know to ask you.
Yeah, so one thing I think is the proactiveness of it all. I think that so many times we wait until we're hit with a bad review, and that one bad review is sits there. And I think that that's one thing that Avrin allows business owners to do really well is not only are you aggregating, we're also sending you email notifications as well. So if you can't come into the platform and see those nice dashboards and see all those reviews, we'll email you and say, hey, you just got this new review in the last 36 hours. You probably should go ahead and respond to it and take action on it and being more proactive in your review management. I think that's something a lot of people don't do until they get a negative review and they're like, okay, I probably should take this seriously. Like, we should be more proactive in managing our reputation. I like to think of reviews as like your first impression, pretty much. It's just like our first time meeting or our first time on a call. Like, your first impressions really still matter, even in 2025. And although it looks different, it looks like it's in the form of a review, it still matters a lot.
100%. I think it pays to be proactive just in general, right? Like you and me didn't have to be on this podcast. We could have just said, I'll only deal with the problems in front of me, but you plan for
Mhm.
the future, right? You hope that you do a little bit extra and then that will pay off later. And like if you're like really working really hard right now, maybe you'll work a little bit less in the future and have better results because you did all these other activities that are more long term, such as monitoring those reviews, sending your customers over to the reviews, and especially using OvrenIQ just to make sure that everything is working great. And I love that feature where it sends you the email when the review comes in, because I can only imagine if we look, and it's easy to find a bad review, right? Look on Yelp, any business that there's that bad review, and maybe it's not even replied to. And it can be scary if some business owner doesn't even know it's there, right? It might sit there for 3 months, 6 months, and anyone who's going there, that's the very first thing they see. And it's like,
Mhm.
you could have just squashed that, got the notification, made it right, replied to it, and then like played this reputation management game that a lot of successful local businesses apply to. They play this game, and if you're not, then you're really missing out, because the future is coming, whether we like it or not, right? With the apps, with the review sites, with AI. So we need to make that work. We need to make that happen. And so, if someone wants to check out OvrenIQ and plug it into their business, is it just OvrenIQ.com, or what's the logical next step here?
Yep, absolutely. It is OvrenIQ.com. You can go on the site and you can request a demo. You can also sign up for a 7-day free trial. So, no need to immediately commit to anything. We want to make sure that for small businesses, you have the ability to test it out, make sure it actually fits and functions as you expect it to. It actually eases your workflow. And if you want to have a call with myself or someone of my team, more than happy to schedule a demo as well.
Well, you thought of everything, and that's definitely always a concern, right? When you add a new habit to your business, you use some new piece of software. It's like, well, will this work for me? Will this all? Am I comfortable with it? Will it integrate? And so I love how you kind of have that trial period where you can sign up, get it working, see those reviews in one place, and say, man, where has this been all my life? Now I can be proactive and I can increase my reviews, monitor my reviews, and then my local competitors will say, what the heck happened? Well, they don't have to know that you started using OvrenIQ.com to get this reputation management thing figured out. And before we let you go here, Rakeyia, it's time to put you on the spot, try to stump you a little bit, because it's the part of the show where I like to ask for a fun or interesting quote or lesson that has served you in life or in business. So, what comes to mind as far as a helpful quote or lesson?
What comes to mind? Immediately, I would say that there is a verse that I love. It comes from the Bible. It says to be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to respond. And so, or sorry, quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. I think that that is powerful because I think a lot of times we don't focus on the fact that we have to hear what people need, whether it's local business owners in the case of Auburn, our customers, review management. And that way, whenever we hear with both of our ears and we speak once, it's like measure twice, cut once, if you will. I think that that's something that I absolutely love.
And it's great advice to think things through and to listen and to plan before we just act out of impulse. That's not the modern day way of doing things. That's not the business owner way of doing things. So make good decisions based on data, based on feedback, listen, and then speak. And then when you do speak or act, don't be angry about it. And your very first step towards getting that ear to the ground and listening is by going to OvrenIQ.com. That way you can use the software, you can enjoy it, you can love it, and you can say, okay, man, here's all these reviews. I didn't even know about half of these review sites. You say, I've heard of Google and Yelp, but then all these other ones, well, geez, I was really missing out because I didn't see them all in one place. Well, it's okay, you didn't know then, but you do know now that you should go to OvrenIQ.com. That's OvrenIQ.com. We'll see you there. And thank you so much, Rakeyia, for educating us and entertaining us about the what we need to know about reputation management and why we should be using Ovren IQ to simplify that and enhance our online reputation across all major review platforms. I appreciate you stopping by and helping us out.
Thank you so much, Robert.
All right.